Alright. So, today's video, what I'm going to be doing is going over my first few games in the Italian heavy tank line as they came out this week. I played a little bit on day one just to see and make some progress in the line. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you a quick summary of my thoughts for those of you who don't want to watch through the entire video, and I'll give my full thoughts at the end. So right now, initial impressions of the Italian heavy tank line. Oh dear God, why? Like, they're not great on PC. Why put them here without the actual mechanic? And just okay. You like weird tanks? Cool. This is a good line for that. You like good tanks? And this is not the line for you. Quick summary. Okay. So, for those of you who don't want to watch through the entire video, there's a Cliff Notes version of my thoughts. But for those of you who are gonna stick around for the rest of this, thank you. I'll try to keep things light and entertaining through the rest of this video. But, yeah, this is the very first game that I had in this tank. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now. Apologies for the choppiness of the video. I was kind of recording off of, I streamed to my laptop. So, yeah, it's a bit of a jank setup, but it works. So, I decided to really try and push this thing on a map that I don't like. So I decided, let's go mid. Let's see what happens in mid. And then I see a name that I recognize. I'm like, wait a second. I think this player is pretty decent, from what I remember. I'm like, oh, cool. Gun does very little damage. So it's like a tiger. Except without all the benefits of being a tiger. Case in point. Dude blocks my shot. I'm like, okay. Back off and let them take it then. Don't know what that medium was doing. But, we'll take it. So, I believe it was at this point in the fight where I was like, well, this is a bad situation to be in. And it's also at this point where I realized, oh yeah, my team is disintegrating slowly around me. This is like, ew. Also forgot right there, this gun has like no decent pen with standard AP when you're stock. It's, I believe, 167, which at tier 7, 167 can work when you're top tier, and occasionally same tier. But when you're middle and or bottom tier, it's kind of 50-50 there. Thankfully the Motherland pulled forward enough to where I could shoot it. But yeah, all my friends are dead. And now it's me against the player I recognized, and I dumped the shot. I'm just like, well, this is where I die, so I'm just like, I'll take out the Sombra and then die. So it's like, initial impressions after this game. I was feeling kinda alright, kinda eh. Which, I mean, stands to reason, because, like, the whole line is mediocre at best. The 9 is probably gonna be the sweet spot, because decent reload, you don't have to fumble around with that extra force shell, even though the Rinoceronte is... it's not terrible, but it's not good. I would say for the average player, instead of the Rinoceronte, I would suggest any of the auto-loading tier 10 mediums. Tier 10 heavy tanks. Sorry, I was thinking of the 50B. I'm not bitter about that. Yeah, that was the first game. Went about as well as I could have hoped. So, let's move on to the next game, shall we? I realize I transitioned too quickly. That's okay. I'm doing a live post-commentary. There we go. Second game in the Caro. On a map that I hadn't played since they removed it. Because I hadn't played much in a while. I load in and realize, oh, I'm top tier. So I might be able to push this thing a little bit. So I decided to do the tried and true play of avoiding everything to do with the beach side of the map. Unless I have to. Which on rare occasions does happen. And I mean very rare occasions do I ever need to go beach. I really wanted an opportunity to try and use the angled upper plate, even though there's honestly very few situations where that upper plate's going to be reliable. This corner sort of can be, but still. So there's not a whole lot that's going to be like, yeah, you can handle this. That, however, is an instance of it working. Just note that I am very grateful when it works. But it does not like to work very often. Partway through this, I believe I realized that my strategy here of trying to get the guy on the far end down wasn't going to work. Bold strategy here, trying to get the greenies to come over, and it did not work initially. So for all intents and purposes, I should be dead by now. Like, this guy should kill me, right? I'm dead here. And he bounces. Now I'm definitely dead, right? So like, I know it. Everybody knows it. Anyone watching this can tell you right now, I should have been dead. I should be dead in this situation. For some unknown reason, I did not die, and I'm allowed to do this. And then we just start cleaning up a little bit. As two of our tanks are capping the enemy base. Because, you know, why wouldn't they be? We're only beating them 9-5. And they have, like, less than 0 chance of getting back to reset it. So this is like, game 2, a little better. Still kind of a mediocre heavy tank. Cause like, they feel in between an actual heavy tank and a support heavy tank. They're not really fit to the job that they're doing. But that's beside the point. They're mediocre at best. I've said it a few times, I'm gonna continue sticking with that because it's fact at this point. I'm gonna be honest, so far, like, I don't have the top gun still on the Caro. But I think with the top gun, I might enjoy it a little more because it's, what was it, 202 base pen? I can actually use AP for the most part. Which, I'm using AP in these first few games. Because, like, my philosophy with testing out a new tank line in, you know, on the live server is, what can it do bog standard without any equipment and just running off what the commander has. Plus a few, you know, consumables help. Because I want to get like a true feel for what the tank can do without any upgrades, so that when you do upgrade it, you can actually put it to good use. That's just my philosophy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I can safely say the Italians are definitely not for everyone. They're also definitely not really a line I would consider true heavy tanks, or even support heavy tanks for that matter. They're just kind of odd, which I think is why I like them so much. It's like, I'll be honest, looking at the Caro, it looks basically like an Italian version of the Valentine. Which amuses me so much. I also just realized that first shell that hit me was HE. Who shot HE at me? I'm genuinely at a loss here. Because I didn't know that first shell that hit me upon like initially editing and recording, well, recording and editing this initial video, that the first shell was HE. I'm amused by it. But I'm getting sidetracked here. To the actual, like, meat of the video. Like, do I like this tank so far? A little bit. Is it good? Absolutely not. Also, I feel really bad right there. That hurt. Poor Roach. Yeah, no, like, the line itself, and what they've done to it, it just doesn't fit anywhere. It doesn't fit, like, any particular role. You just kind of play it. I mean, you can adapt it to different roles and kind of make it work as, like, a pseudo support heavy, which is technically what it's supposed to be, but at the same time, it's just like once you get the auto reloaders, the times on those reloads do not look appealing, especially since they do not have the proper mechanic. They just have the bog standard auto reloading mechanic, which, like, to be honest, for anything else, be totally fine. Or, you know, if the armor could actually be reliable. But it's very situational. You have to know where to be, and, you know, it helps to actually have some teammates backing you up. Or be in a position like this where you're going up against something with a very low caliber gun, which you're gonna see very shortly. Right about, let's see, when is the T-71 gonna pop up? Because, like, I'm trying to bait them out while my teammates move. There's the Jogan. There's the T-71. T-71 actually has a gun that I can sit in front of and not worry. Meanwhile, I take itself. So, I'm gonna use this time right here to go over my full thoughts on the Karo so far. It's not good. It's really not good. I like it. I think it'll be more fun with the Top Gun, and I'll probably enjoy it. Cause, like, I'm gonna be playing through the whole line. Am I gonna stop and probably keep the 9? Probably, because the 9 looks good. Though, yeah, still the end goal is the Rinoceronte. Just because it's a funky looking tank. I like tanks that look kind of funky and weird. Or gimmicky. Like, anything that's bizarre, I'm usually a fan of. But I think I have been waiting for this line for maybe a year and a half. Ever since I played them on PC's common test server. I've been like, yeah, no, give me the Italian heavies. They're weird. I like it. Console, them being moderately downgraded, so to speak. Because, like, oh, our equipment is more potent, and our commander skills are more potent. Yeah, no, it still doesn't work. But, yeah, overall, mediocre heavy tank line. Would I personally recommend them to anyone? Not at all. If you enjoy them, you enjoy them. If not, I wouldn't recommend trying this line. But, anyways, this is my first impressions on them. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you, and hope to make another video in a couple weeks. As always, I'm out.